Many things can shape our lives. What are the things that have shaped your life? Well, one of the things that has had a profound impact on where I am today is reading books. I must admit that I wasn't a natural reader when I first started because I was so into outdoors, sports, music, just going out there to have fun. But when I realized that unless I became a reader, I was not going to be able to develop a lot of the knowledge that I hadn't learned at university. So I disciplined myself to get into the habit of reading 30 minutes every day. Initially, it was a bit hard, but then I got into it, and then it became a habit. So before I went to bed every night, I would read for half an hour. There are many books out there, and especially in today's day and age, with the fast speed, so many books are coming out, self-publishing, audiobooks, there are podcasts, all kinds of books are out there. Today, I'd like to share with you 6 of my favorite books when it comes to personal development, financial success, and investment. The very first book I'd like to recommend to you is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In this book, Napoleon Hill has put together a success formula by Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world at the time. What I got the most out of the book, though, was that if you can control the subconscious mind, what goes into your mind, you can control the future. It really gave me the confidence to continue my journey, knowing that the future was in my hands. The book also talks a lot about the power of visualization, the power of association, the power of having mastermind around you, and many, many other aspects. The key thing is that you got to keep reading the book because from time to time, as you grow, as you become more successful, every time you read the book, you get more out of it. So please don't be disappointed if you don't get the formula immediately, because according to the author, you have to be ready to be able to get the formula. But let me assure you, if you keep working on it, if you keep reading it, the formula will come to you, as it has to me. The second book I'd like to recommend for you to read is The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. This book really helped me expand my thinking about the future, made me a bigger dreamer. I also learned in this book that for anyone to go beyond where they are now, success-wise, we have to first get rid of all the excuses. He used the term in the book, excusitis. Being an introvert at the time, I thought that was one of my limitations because in any social situation or a gathering, I was always one of the more reserved ones to stay in a corner, even when I was working as a diplomat. But having read this book, especially in one of the later chapters, it talks about in any social gathering, any situations, usually the person who holds the most important position, who has the most success, is the one that goes out to meet people and greet people. So I decided to get rid of my excuse for being introvert. For you, it may be something else that's holding you back. And whatever the excuse you may be suffering from, this book can help you. It's a wonderful book to read. It can genuinely help you expand your thinking and get rid of any excuses as well. The third book is a true masterpiece. It's a classic, one of my very favorites, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Everything, anything you need to know about how to work with other people is in the book. I love it so much, I've read it over 100 times. One of my favorites in this book is the 3 fundamental principles of interpersonal communications. The first one is don't complain. Second, don't condemn. And the third, don't criticize. And many, many other gems. We're living in a world with people. Every day, at home, at work, in our communities, we interact with people. But how we interact with people, how we communicate with people, will determine how far we travel in our lives. So it's so vital that you read the book and apply those principles. If you're a young person, if you haven't really seriously read the book, please make sure you read it. If you're a parent, this is one of the very first books you should give to your children because it can help shape their lives. The fourth book is a very exciting book because it talks about wealth building. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason. In fact, this was one of the very first books I read back in 1991. It's probably still today one of the very best books ever written about how to build wealth. What I learned from that at the time is that for anyone to become well off, to become wealthy, you have to have 2 things going at the same time, cash flow and asset building. It talked about why it is so important for anyone to build wealth and how to go about it. So regardless of where you are on your wealth journey, it is a book worth reading or rereading. When I first read it in 1991, I didn't get a lot out of it. I had some concept, but didn't quite understand it. The more I read it, the more I knew, I learned, and applied them, and it works. So it's a very good book. It's a must read for you and for your future generations. The fifth book on the list is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's become a modern classic. In this book, the author talked about two career paths people choose. The first one, which is chosen by most people, that is to go to a good school, a good university, you study hard, and then get a good job and work there for life. The other path that is chosen by the minority of people, that is to become an investor and an entrepreneur. In 1998, when I became a property investor, I happened to get hold of this book. What I learned the most from this book at the time was that I should spend more money on buying assets instead of buying liabilities. It talked about the distinction between an asset and liability. So if you want to get excited about becoming financially independent, about investing, also it's very much in line with some of the principles taught in the book, The Richest Man in Babylon. So please have a read of this book and also make sure you apply the principle in there as well. The number 6 book on the list is called 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. Probably one of the very best books ever written on leadership. For anyone to grow in your career, in your business, we have to grow our leadership first. And this book talks about 21 laws of leadership. Every single thing you need to learn about growing your leadership qualities is in that book, starting with the law of the lead. So many organizations, companies, individuals stagnate because of the lead of the leadership. For us to grow further, we have to make sure we break the lead and by growing our leadership qualities. And this book is a must read for you to do that. It's got so many practical tips, so many amazing principles. As they say, if you want to know whether you are a true leader, all you need to do is to turn around and see if people are following you. By applying these 21 laws, people will follow your leadership. Now that I've introduced you to 6 of my favorite books, I'd like to leave you with one more thing. And that is, after reading those books, please apply the principles from each page. They all work magically. By applying those principles in every book, you will become happier, you will become more successful, and you will become more wealthy. If you like the content of this video, please remember to give us a like and subscribe for more content to come in the future. And thank you for watching.